Wonderful. So good to see people signing on. Yeah. We are making chili today on this chili day. We're going to be making two kinds of chili. So I'll be leading in a meat-based chili, and Julia is going to be doing the vegetarian chili. So thank you, Julia, for that. Just a quick word about us for anybody new on the call. We're KindWorks. We've been around for 14 years, doing some good in our community, galvanizing people to volunteer and share kindness. So thank you for joining us. We've been doing soups for over a year. It's been amazing. We've shared thousands and thousands of quarts of soup with food banks, with shelters, with healthcare heroes, with our elderly parents and neighbors, with just about everybody, people who are feeling down and need a warm hug. So thank you for being on this ride. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll get cooking. So Julia, I'll just mention that I have made my ground beef already. I've sauteed that. So anybody who's making the beef chili, please go ahead and start sauteing the ground beef. And over to you, Julia.
All right, if you're making the vegetarian chili, you can start with your olive oil and then saute your onions and your peppers, all your vegetables, and your sweet potatoes as well.
So Julia, I have a question. 3 84-ounce cans of diced tomatoes, is that correct?
No, it's total 84 ounces. So it's three cans of three of these.
Okay, because I read it.
Quiz.
Well, I have a lot of diced tomatoes going forward.
Good, we're going to use that in the future. Hang on to that.
Yes.
But can I ask you, Deb, rumor has it that you were on German TV this afternoon?
Not this afternoon. We taped a few seconds ago, but they are taping you now, asking that very question.
Very good. Now I'll keep my mouth.
All right, I'm making the vegetarian along with Julia. Salma's over here making the meat. How about everybody else? Who's making what? Give me a thumbs up if you are making the vegetarian. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can't see any more than that view right now. So I'm going to assume everybody else is making meat. Very cool. All right.
You know, I want to talk about that for a second, because a couple of weeks ago, we had a whole discussion about vegetarian chili.
Yes.
And how some of the vegetarians didn't like the idea of the crumble, the soy crumble in there.
Right.
I don't care what they say. I'm putting the soy crumble in because
Marge, you know you can do whatever you want.
And you know that I will. Thank you.
Once you get chef before your name, you get to do what you want.
Yeah, I'm one who doesn't like the soy crumble, so I do all vegetarian with beans and vegetables.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm doing too.
I don't think I have enough soy crumble, so I think I'm going to take some of it out that I'm going to use with my family, and just so I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Isn't one of the issues that people who do not want to eat meat might be concerned that what seems like meat is meat and the dish is not in fact vegetarian? I know that my daughter is a vegetarian, and that would kind of disturb, she would avoid eating it if there was any possibility that it was a meat product.
Well, the other issue is that a lot of the meat, the fake meat, is very processed, and so if you're really trying to eat healthfully, that it doesn't feel very, helpful. So
yeah,
that's another reason.
I think it's that. And also when Carol Weil was on a week or two ago and we were talking about this, she said that once she gave up meat, the texture of the like meat offends her because she gave up the whole meat texture thing. So she prefers vegetables. And I think Marcia may have said the same. So, whatever works for you. If you guys like the crumbles, crumble away. If you don't, we've given you like a great chunky vegetable recipe here.
Has anybody tried it with sweet potatoes? I've never put potatoes in my chili. I thought that
I'm,
was very
yes.
unusual.
I made the recipe before and it was good.
It's good. It doesn't give a weird texture also, like, okay,
Yeah.
they soften up. Okay, great.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
delicious. I made it before, it's delicious. It's just too carb heavy for my diabetic family. So
I wanted to ask everyone, what did you do with your soup from last week? How did people share it? Where did you take it and how was it received?
I'm going to start off by sharing one very kind worky kind of answer to that question. We have somebody who's done some kind works throughout the last couple of years, and she mentioned that she misses cooking with us a lot, but she can't cook with us now because her kitchen's being renovated. And she sent me a picture of a big, huge open space with nothing but like wall tape on it, you know? And so she said, we're so sick of takeout food. So last couple of weeks, I've shared a couple of quarts of our soups with her, and her family's been delighted. So that's one of the ways I've been sharing. How about anybody else?
That's amazing.
I brought mine to here to help, and they actually posted pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that. As I've mentioned before, I've been taking soup every week to my in-laws. And last week, I asked my mom-in-law what it has meant for her to have this kind soup, and she calls it savior soup. It has saved them. It has been something she's looked forward to every weekend. She stretches it for several lunches by adding more broth or more veggies or more noodles. And it's, especially for my father-in-law who has a difficult time eating harder things. This has been literally a savior for him and for both of us to have this nourishing soup. So that was nice to hear.
That's wonderful.
This has really been a savior for me.
There she
I'm
is.
the recipient of the soup. Yeah, I'm enjoying some of the week's soup.
Oh, I'm so glad, Karen.
Yeah, it's really been a savior for me, enjoying it. You know?
That's great. But we miss you in the kitchen, so we're glad you signed on today.
Right, I miss also. Hopefully we're at the end, so hopefully soon.
Excellent. Anybody else?
No, just.
I gave a quart to my my cousin's daughter, who's a sophomore at American University, studying environmental and international stuff, and they're not back fully, and so not everything is open, and there's not a lot of food, and she doesn't think the food on campus is very good anyway. So she is so excited whenever I give her some kind soup. So that was nice. But otherwise, I have some in the freezer that will go probably up to the hub or who knows where.
I delivered about 9 quarts of soup last week to the hub, and they were so thrilled. And of course, they saw it was the miso soup. So the gal who took it from me was like, I have to taste this. I'm going to just taste a little bit. It looked so good. It was just the noodles, the miso, and a little scallion on the top. And so they said it was all going out last Friday. I delivered it on Thursday morning. So no feedback, but I know my mother lives for her soup every week. She just loves it. It's such a gift, for our elderly parents to be able to give them a hot meal that's made with such love and care. And yeah, it's great. So everything is going to, people who are really appreciating it. It makes me feel so good. So
Wonderful.
back to the chili.
Okay. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
I've been away for a little while. I've been fighting a battle to get my native garden to be acceptable, and I haven't been able to participate, but I was back last week. I made a whole bunch of cream of broccoli soup. It was my own recipe. And my curiosity was, and I went for it, but I gave some of it to the community because they were doing all the snow plowing and everything. But the rest I took and I put the Kind Works label on it as if it was a Kind Works donation. But I didn't know if you'd rather, if we don't use your recipe, that we not associate it with Kind Works.
I think that in the case that you've already done it, it's fantastic. But in the future, I think that when the labels are on it, it's kind of representing that we know what's in there. So maybe we don't do that in the future. But we're really thrilled that you shared your soup last week.
Okay, great. All right. But it's still okay to share it with them. Just don't indicate that it's a Do Kind Works.
That, yes, although it might be that they don't want it unless it's got the KindSoup label on it, because that gives them some comfort that they know who you are and you know what they're getting. So I would call ahead before I dropped off soup, because I wouldn't want your soup to go to waste.
Well, I did tell them what
Okay, good.
happened.
Good.
And they seemed very receptive there. But like you say, maybe if I need to call and talk to somebody who's more in charge.
And where was that, Lynn?
This was at the Olney, you know what I'm talking about?
I do,
I think
I
it's
do.
called the Mid-County.
Yeah, anything that you do that works is fantastic, but I think you're safest if you use the recipes that we have on our website that we've cooked in the past, and you use our labeling so they know your first name and last initial and what the soup is. And of course, list out the food allergies and restrictions that we always do, right?
Okay, so any recipe off of your historical list,
Yeah.
I could go to and send. Okay, great.
Yep, yep. Thank you so much, Lynn. We're glad you did that.
Thank you. I appreciate the guidance.
And welcome back.
Thank you. I hope to be back more frequently.
We do too. It's good to see you.
I have to drop off now though, but I'm going to make this soup and take it up there at the end of the week.
Okay, see you later.
And the recording is available in case I need some tips.
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay,
Yep.
great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So when I dropped my soup off at Here to Help, it was a little after 9:30 and there was no one there, but I left it in a cooler. Well, the cooler wasn't out yet, but I left it with cold stuff and I'm hoping that everyone got there and was able to use it.
The
Yeah,
cooler was there. The cooler was there later.
Great, thank you, Julia.
And fortunately, it's been so cold the last few weeks that Here to Help's like time change, you know, their time differences seem to work out without any problems.
I'm gonna go see Kind Works. There we go. I wasn't. I want to do a move with it there.
All right, I'm adding my spices, Julia. How about everybody else?
Yeah, I've added garlic and spices, and now I'm opening up my cans of the tomatoes and beans to add those soon.
Okay, and for the meat chili folks, we've got onion sauteing. I put the garlic in, and I put the peppers in.
Okay, thank you. So it's spicy. That one's spicy.
And please choose a soup to take if you.
I think we're.
Give it to other people.
I think we're pretty much.
Is that what you need?
I have a question. If you don't mind. Can anybody cook with you if I'm not, the greatest chef in the world?
Absolutely. Anybody can join us.
Can I let people online answer that question for Nancy? Come here, Nancy. Come on over.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Nancy here is with Welt TV, and she's been spending the last hour with us. And she just asked if anybody is allowed to just sign on and cook soups with us, even if they aren't good cooks. What's the answer?
Yes.
How many people have learned cooking techniques just in the last year by cooking with us, right?
And the reason it's yes is because soup is forgiving.
Soup is very forgiving, Nancy. You can learn your craft here and it's all is forgiven. We would love it. We hope to see you next time.
You know what I have found interesting, among other things, is I've cooked with foods that I've never cooked with before, just because I never made so much soup in my life.
Uh-huh.
but I don't like coconut. So I never would order something on a menu that had coconut milk in it. Well, coconut milk doesn't taste like coconut. It's
Right.
fine. And so I never would have known that had I not been doing this.
Yep. Any other things that people have kind of come to learn while they were cooking in the last year on our sessions together?
Well, you know that one of my favorite chefs is young Olivier,
Yes.
who is a very exacting young man. How old is Olivier?
He's 9. And
He's
I was
9.
thinking of him today, Betsy, when I was getting my mise en place. All prepared.
Exactly. He disciplines us into being better chefs, and he is
Yes.
just so delightful. I enjoy every moment of his cooking.
Yes, me too. It's a highlight.
Okay, friends, so I'm putting all my spices in. The chili powder, in our recipe, it says 4 tablespoons of chili powder. I would maybe just use a little discretion there, depending on how spicy or you'd like it. I'm gonna go a little bit less than that.
But I saw you had hot chilies.
No,
Were those
no,
peppers
no
hot?
peppers.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yes, so I put the salt, the chili powder, cayenne, ground cinnamon, cumin. And cinnamon. Is everybody good?
Anybody need anything or everyone's good?
The colors in the vegetarian chili are beautiful.
I know.
The sweet potatoes and the peppers and all of that, just beautiful, beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you, Betsy. It is gorgeous.
I added zucchini, if anyone wants to know a special ingredient to the vegetarian. So I added yet another color.
You can do that too.
Say that again,
Why
Marge?
not? I added zucchini. Why not? And I added mushrooms.
I'm pretty much sticking to the recipe.
Oh, no, no, no. What fun is that? I did put in, I think that 3 teaspoons, a tablespoon of cayenne pepper is too much. I probably put in 2, and I really think I should taste it to see if I die. Because if I don't, if I'm close to that, I'm thinking I might add more tomatoes to cut back some of that, you know. I get the taste.
Julia?
Yes.
I was thinking, I was reading different recipes, before you had sent me your recipe, which we're using today. And a lot of the vegetarian ones suggested using some quinoa in with it. What's your feeling on adding some quinoa to this?
I've done that before with other chili, and it certainly can be done. It adds a little bulk to it, and I mean that could absolutely be done in this.
Okay, so I'll see how thin mine is and make a decision at the end. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks.
You were talking, Deb, about how many, or maybe Salma did, about how many quarts of soup have been created through KindSoups. Do you have a sense of what that number is? And you know why I'm asking.
Yes, I do. And I don't have a number that you can quote me on, but the sense is about 5,500 quarts of frozen soups have been shared.
That is
and
phenomenal.
we're well aware that our numbers are very low because I see some of you on here all the time and I don't always see your names on the list. And believe me, I am guilty of the same. So 5,500 is a minimum, but that's the number we're going with, Betsy.
I know that a lot of the Har Shalom chefs don't record their soup.
Yeah.
One of them spoke to me about it today and
Yeah.
said, oh, you need to remind people to track their soups.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I looked in the email I sent them 2 weeks ago and there was the tracking link and I sent it again today, but that's, I mean, I can't hold their hands to the
No,
fire.
you can't. And you've been fantastic at reminding them every single week. I see it. But you know what? It's fine because the kindness is out there and that's the first goal. The reporting is, not as important. So we're happy. Jenny, how have you been? We haven't spoken to you in a while. Oh my goodness. And we have Michelle feedback. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here making chili. I missed it last week. I was here the week before, I guess. Yeah, and my students are, making bread every week. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
so fun. Thank you for doing that.
Brought in 10 loaves today. It was my biggest group on Friday, so they're loving it, and hopefully it's going to a good place.
I think, it is going to the Afghan families that are getting our soups. And it is just a genius program you've created. Do you want to just tell everyone before we close this what you're doing and who you're doing it with?
Sure. So I'm a 5th grade teacher and I'm a former baker. I used to be a bread baker in France many years ago. And but it's kind of a love of mine. And I have over the years, occasionally made bread with students. And I thought, what goes better with soup than bread? And so I talked to Deb about, is this something that they could accept, if it were made by students. And so she said, yeah, great, let's call it Kind Bread. So the students, they sign up we started at recess time. They come in to do the mixing and then leave it to rise for the first rise. And they come in just before they go home to shape it. And they take it home in their proofing baskets. And then they have instructions to bake it at home around 5:30 or 6. And then they just like you do for KindSoups, they keep one loaf at home to eat with their family, and then they freeze the other loaf. And then they bring it in frozen on Mondays or Tuesdays. And then I bring it in and drop it off at Selma's and her freezer. So
It's, and you know,
great. They love it.
yeah, they are absolutely beautiful. They're different, you know, they're all a little different, and they're all beautiful, and they are going with the soups. I just got a request today for us to replenish the breads and the soups that are
great.
Yeah. So thank you
great.
for what you're doing. It's a beautiful program.
Oh, it's wonderful. The kids, thank you. The kids love it. They totally love it. They're excited about it. So.
What have the kids said about making the bread, and when you share that they're going to people in need and to Afghan refugees?
Yeah.
What do the kids feel about it? What have they said about the process?
Oh, they're really excited. I've overheard kids say something like, you know, sometimes they divide their dough, you know, they try to divide it in half to shape 2 different loaves. And sometimes, you know, it's slightly off. And I've heard them say, oh, I'm gonna make sure this bigger loaf is the one that I freeze to go to the people who need it. Things like that. So yeah, so they're totally into the whole concept. I'm really excited about it. When I first proposed the program to them, I showed them, you know, some video from KindWorks, and I showed them the website and talked about what you do, you know, what we do at KindWorks and all the different projects. And so, you know, I think that's really what helped to motivate a lot of these kids to try something new they had never done before.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are these kids?
So they're 10 and 11. They're 5th grade.
5th grade. Okay.
Yeah.
And about
What school?
It's St. Patrick's Episcopal.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have a loaf of bread in your freezer that you can show us? I actually
no, they're all in the freezer at school right now.
I actually have one.
I was waiting. I'm sorry.
I have one outside. I'll pull one.
Oh, great. From that I brought probably the other day.
All right, well, Selma's getting the bread. I noticed Michelle Hainback, who I don't think has ever cooked with us, is on today. Michelle, are you there? Ah, here she comes.
Hi, yeah, I'm a newbie.
Hi, welcome. Welcome. Are you cooking?
I am cooking. I am very
fabulous.
And I do love the colors. It is beautiful.
Isn't it? That's great. Well, welcome.
But never with squash. So I'm looking forward to it, to tasting it and donating it. Yeah, my friend Julie told me she was helping this week, and I said, oh, this is a great time for me to try it then.
So Deb Lang couldn't get you on, but Julie, thank you, Julia. I'm so glad you pulled her in.
And I think I'm gonna have to split this into 2 pots though. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
The pot's almost full and I haven't put the beans in yet. So definitely gonna be happening, yes.
I'm definitely working 2 pots.
It's big. Bread looks beautiful. Look at that. Wow.
That's all right. So we're gonna get Jenny back on, and we're gonna somehow try to take, who knows how to do one of these pictures over Zoom. I know, I'll pin Jenny and I'll pin Salma holding the bread, and then we'll take a picture. Does that work? Or does that, somebody have a better idea on how to do this? Jenny, are you there? Or are you gone for a little bit?
You just want a screenshot of the bread?
And Jenny.
With Jenny somehow.
Oh,
can you do it, Betsy? I can do it, I think. Let's see. No, I can't do it. Oh, that's smart. Where's my phone? Okay. Oh, can you see? Not really. There's a big light there. I don't know. Maybe.
Let's see.
Selma, hold it up and I'll take a screenshot.
Okay, thank you, Holly.
Make it so that I can see KindWorks on your apron. There we go.
Okay.
And if you tip the top a little bit so we see, there we go. Oh, that's great. We'll do one more.
Jenny, are you there?
I'm here.
For the picture.
I got Jenny now. Thanks. but I don't have you with the bread. Okay.
I know.
I got a screenshot too.
Thank you.
Good. We'll send them to you, Deb.
How's everybody doing? I'm putting my ground beef in, and the tomatoes are already in.
Yeah, does anyone need help with the vegetarian?
Oh, so good. Should I put it in the bigger pot? Doesn't look like it's cooking much.
Okay, can you hold the top?
So I have to admit, I'm intrigued by the addition of cocoa powder. I mean, chocolate goes well with everything. Is that the idea?
It gives it a very Mexican kind of undertone with the cinnamon and the cocoa. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, Cincinnati chili tradition to have cinnamon and chocolate in your chili.
Right.
Lynn is showing her Ohio roots, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's from Ohio?
Lynn Gertzog.
Oh, where?
Cincinnati.
Okay.
Home of
I'm from
chocolate
Bowling
chili.
Green.
Got it.
Some of the best chili ever.
What's that?
I said home of some of the best chili ever.
Right, I know, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's
Yeah.
so good. Well,
Oh, yeah.
Except I never quite got into the chili on top of the spaghetti, the Cincinnati approach.
I only eat it
oh,
that way.
really? Like the 3-way and the 5-way and all of that? I love that.
Yeah. Love it. And on Coney's chili dogs.
Yes. We spent a lot of time at Skyline Chili when I was in college. In Cincinnati.
Yeah, spent many a late night there
Yeah.
in high school.
So Julia, how long should it cook for these sweet potatoes to get soft? Oh,
You know, it
40
said-
minutes an hour. I'm sorry, I see it now.
It says 45 to, but you know, with the first time I did it, I think it was quicker than that. You just have to test it with a fork.
Okay, mine does not seem to be cooking, but it's so pretty. I'm not sad, but I may be here. I'm in Selma's kitchen. I might be here when she wakes up tomorrow. I don't know.
It also, you know, we're working with bigger quantities. When I did it the first time, it was a once recipe. So, you know, it cooked more quickly the first time I did it.
Okay.
So.
Beautiful.
I think we found in some other recipes, like the one I'm doing right now, that the sweet potatoes, depends on how big you cut them.
Yeah.
I think one time I had them really large because I was so tired of chopping, and then it took a long time. But today so I had just made chili like 2 weeks ago and didn't feel like it, but I had the sweet potatoes and I looked at our past recipes, and one of the winners was always that autumn wild rice soup that led us in making.
Yeah.
But soup is forgiving, and farro is better than rice, so nutritionally. So we're going to try this with farro.
Good. All right, well, maybe you'll lead us, if you end up loving it, maybe you'll lead it in February for all of us.
I have no idea what I put in.
All right.
Vegetables.
Well, actually, speaking of which, everybody, we have a few more recipes already scheduled, but we've got some empty weeks. So if there's anybody who wants to share one of their favorite recipes, or a recipe that kind of is important to who they are, they grew up with, or they got from their grandma, or anything else, just the one from the restaurant that, you know, you went to when you got engaged or divorced, or, you know, any other meaningful event in your life, we'd love to have you, you know, either just send me the recipe and we can post it, and we'll lead it, or even better, you help us lead it. That'd be a lot of fun. So keep in mind that we're looking for you to participate as much as you're comfortable. And let me know if you'd like to lead a KindSoup in the future, or at least give me a recipe. That means you, Marge. I know, Marge did. She co-led watermelon gazpacho with me, Marge, or no?
Yeah. You know, I offered to lead that vegetarian chili and you shot me down because of the crumbles. So
the crumbles. We don't do crumbles on Monday nights, Marge.
No crumbles.
Some people don't eat meat on Friday. Kind workers don't do crumbles on Monday night.
I don't eat meat on Mondays because it's Meatless Monday. So.
Meatless Monday. All right. Crumble is crummy.
Although I do remember growing up with the fish sticks on Friday, fish sticks and cheese pizzas on Friday. This is what happens when you live in a very Italian neighborhood.
Where are you from, Marge?
Lynbrook, on Long Island.
So how far is Lynbrook? I was in Valley Stream the other day.
Next to it, next town.
Yeah, that's
next
what I
town.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang, they have a great new bagel place there.
Really? I'm from Merrick, not far away. Haven't been back in so long. Merrick?
Yeah.
North Belmore, Holly.
Oh my goodness, you guys are working your way out to Montauk.
They are working their way out the island, aren't they?
Who's from Belmore? Did you go to Kennedy High School?
No, I was part of the tracks. I went to Mepham.
Oh, Mepham. I know Mepham. Well, that's funny. We need to cross paths about life in Merrick. Do you still have anyone there, or has everyone moved on?
My family moved up to Manhasset once left. Yeah,
mine moved all the way out to Oakdale, like Sayville, on the end of the island. So
we'll talk separate, but that's interesting.
Yes, it's just a small world. Yay.
Marge, why are we seeing only you?
I don't know. Why are you seeing only me? I see everyone.
Somehow you're pinned.
Oh, Deb? Lynn said that they can only see me. Can everyone else see everyone else? I see everyone.
I see everyone.
You just need to change your view on the top hand right corner. You go to view and you can go to.
You know, I set the Zoom up to be so that each person's thoughts will dictate who. So Lynn, what are you thinking about Marge about? What's going on here?
She knows I have a glass of wine and she's jealous.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I'll take it off who you're thinking about, and instead it'll be who's speaking. Okay, sorry about that.
Deb, did you see I stuck a question just to you in there?
No, I did not. I'm looking now.
Oh, look at that. And it has Harshalom as my symbol. That's weird.
So I'm going to ask the whole group. I think that I can see the private chats when I record the chats, but I don't think other people can see chats that didn't include them as a recipient. I think chats that are public come out on everybody's recording of the chat, and chats that are private don't.
Right.
But
do we know that for a fact?
You know, do we know any facts nowadays? You know,
well, one of the things I was going to talk about is the bread that I tasted today that we can't make because it was called beer bread. Now, I don't like beer at all, but someone was talking about it on yesterday's call. So one of the other people on yesterday's call actually tried this. And apparently, and I didn't know this because beer has yeast in it, you can make the beer, you can make the bread without adding anything other than the beer, and it makes the loaf rise. And it had all sorts, she had all sorts of seeds in it, pumpkin seeds and chia, and I don't know what else. But it was delicious. I am sure that the Afghans wouldn't eat it, but wow, it was so easy. It was like, I could bake bread. You know, it takes 5 minutes to make it, then you throw it in the oven and it's done. It was.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think, I will wait. Oh, here comes Selma. I don't think that the Afghans would want beer bread. But I understand that the alcohol cooks out, but I'm still told not to cook with wine and beer. But it sounds delicious and fun if you want to share the recipe with the rest of us, Marge. Chef
I'm
Marge.
going to try it first. I'm going to try it first and let you know, because, you know, I want to know, like you say, it doesn't automatically make us good cooks just because we cook soup. I was very impressed that Hedda gave me, when I went to pick up her soup today, she gave me this, you know, a slice of this bread that she made. And it was so
very nice. Very nice. And Lynn Gertzog, I think you were about to say something, but we cut you off. Nope. Never mind. All right. Well, my soup is still needing to cook. How's everybody? This is an easy one because you put it all in and then it does its thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a pretty easy recipe.
Yeah. And both of them are beautiful. Her meat one, I've got a little meat envy right now. But she's got a little color envy going on mine. So we're even.
I have a question to all you experienced soup cookers. Have you found certain soups?
Michelle, we're soup chefs.
Okay, soup chefs.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you found that certain soups freeze better or certain soups don't freeze so well? Because my experience with freezing things like chili is it really doesn't freeze that well.
I'm gonna let Julia answer that, but I am gonna say
it gets just like sodden with water and then it doesn't defrost particularly well. Same thing with like barley.
Yeah. Julia, what's your answer? You don't know. I'm gonna say that, Michelle, our soups, you know, are all, you know, everything is better fresh, right? And yet, you know, in order for these to be something that the food assistance providers can take from us and we can travel with, we have to freeze it. So we've tried workarounds, like if it's a chicken tortilla soup, you know, put the toppings on the side and deliver it like that. There's nothing like, you know, the soup, the way it's intended to be served. It's more beautiful and it's more fresh, but you do the best you can. So enjoy your soup tonight for dinner and know that it's going to be 95%, but not 100 when other people get it.
Thank you.
I have a comment on that as well, because I get very nervous when we start freezing dairy.
Yeah.
And we've had soups with yogurts in them. And surprisingly, I mean, I tried them out before doing it. You're right. It doesn't taste the same as when it was made fresh, but it's still okay. And the dairy did freeze. I was really surprised by that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when we've researched it, supposedly, you know, milk or cream or eggs. We had like a soup where, you know, we did like an egg drop. And when you research it, it says that those don't freeze well. But when we've done it, it's been okay.
Yeah. Mine is an hour. Oh, good. Then you won't mind that you're putting on your pajamas and I'm sitting here staring at both. Really, an hour looks like time?
I think, yeah, not maybe half an hour, maybe the water needs to, because the meat.
But you don't have meats in there yet.
No, right after it cooks, you're supposed to have.
Why would I want the light flavor with the beans? Oh, yeah. Unless you're making, what's the name of the stuff you make with the goop around the beans when you buy canned beans? Say it.
Aquafaba.
Aquafaba.
Olivier to tell us the answer to that. Because
Exactly.
he's talking about.
I
that.
call it goop and he calls it aquafaba.
You can whip it like egg whites.
That's what he was telling us, Lynn, this little 9-year-old.
Yeah.
He blew my mind. Have you done it, Lynn?
I did. I had a vegan Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, and well, I was elsewhere.
Yeah.
One of the desserts, I think, it was pecan pie, maybe, that required whipping of the aquafaba.
And on a scale of 1 to 10?
The pie was good. It was delicious.
So the aquafaba, did that replace the gooey molassesy stuff in between the pecans? I thought you were saying it was going to be in place of the whipped cream.
Maybe an egg substitute.
Oh.
I don't know. This was a couple of years ago. I just think it's funny that aquafaba we all talk about, and it just means bean water, right?
Sounds so much better in some other language. Bean water makes me, It's so funny because for the first 9 months of us doing this, people would say, do I have to rinse the beans? And I'd be like holding my throat, like, why wouldn't you rinse the beans? That stuff's gross. And then all of a sudden it's a delicacy, whatever.
Well, it's a substitute for something else.
Yeah.
I did something new today. I didn't have any cumin powder, so I had some seeds and I toasted them and then ground them.
Delicious, or we don't know yet?
They smells delicious.
Like that.
It was nice. I mean, everything smells now.
Cumin powder by toasting. That's fan. Hey, Lynn, tell us about your experience giving out COVID tests at the library last week.
Oh, I've done it several times. So it's been good. Everyone's, very appreciative. We give out, we do it outside at the Little Falls Library. Depends on, the library. And I would say we give out, their allotment is about 1,800 kits, boxes, so 2 per person. So we serve like 900 people. And we would be out of them within an hour and a half, probably.
Oh my God. So are there lines like around the blocks?
Well, at the beginning, because, it's Bethesda. So if we start at 11, people start lining up at 10. So the line builds. But then once we start, the line moves really quickly.
And what's the sweet spot for when those of us on this call should drive up, get one, and be able to drive away within
the Little
So
Falls?
I went there today at 1:30. And thank you, Lynn, for whenever you're doing it. And they were replenishing the cart that's outside. And I think I waited 5 minutes. There were maybe 15 people ahead of me. The most challenging thing, which is what I also observed at the Connie Morella Library, is getting out of the parking lot.
The parking lot behavior is absolutely crazy. It's not very safe, and it's very frustrating.
At Little Falls, I parked at the church across the street. And
It's a good idea.
Walked over.
Yeah.
I did it last week at White Oak. People were lining up at 9 o'clock for the 11 o'clock thing. And they were out of 1,800 boxes by 11:45.
Are they still giving out the masks?
Yeah, that's this week, the masks.
What are the hours for the masks?
It's at the same time as the kits, so it depends on the library. Usually some libraries are noon to 2, and then others were like maybe 3 to 5 or something, and 5 to 7. Not really sure.
Well, here's a novel thing. I went to the library the other day to return a book. I know that that's sort of something people don't understand, but I was returning a book or picking up a different book. And I got there, and this is the Potomac Library. It had started, they were supposedly giving out masks at 11 o'clock, or they had been. Only when you got there, it had a sign saying that they weren't going to give out masks until noon that day. I have no idea why that happened, but the people at the end of the line had no idea, because I got there, it was probably about 11:15 or whatever. I was going in, I returned my book, I came out, and I happened to see someone in line at the end of the line, and because it had wrapped around the building, they couldn't see it. And I knew this person, and I said, you know, they're not going to start giving out the kits until noon. And at that point, the Presbyterian church, I think, across the street started booming its 11 o'clock hour. So they'd have to wait in line another hour. These people are in their 70s, and I don't think they wanted to wait out in the cold another hour. I don't know what they decided to do, but the woman in front of them overheard me and said, I'm not waiting an hour, and left.
I think that they changed the hours. Originally, we were doing it at 2, and we ran out so quickly, and a lot of people were coming at lunchtime, you know, so they really couldn't get there until noonish. So they condensed it to 11 to 2, and for whatever reason, maybe the message did not get passed along properly.
Okay, so now the new time is at noon or at 11? Because it happened.
I believe at noon. I haven't done it at all this week. You have to check on the website. They'll change it on the website or look on Facebook. But it never pays to. I always recommend waiting until the start time and then going. There's no reason to go early and get in line.
Right, because
Are the people who are staffing this volunteers?
Yes, for the most part, and then some of the library staff as well. And you know, it's a real mitzvah for the libraries, because this is not, you know, this is not their job. And it's like a tiny library like Little Falls, to have all those people in and out of there, and it's a lot, but it makes total sense to do it through the libraries.
How did you volunteer, Lynn? Is there a sign up?
I do it through the Maryland Medical Reserve Corps. So I've been doing, signed up for it about a year ago, I guess, and you have to go through a little training. And most of the people who were in MRC, a lot of them were like medical people. So it's the vaccinators, you know, people who go out when there's, you know, a flood or a tornado, or, you know, they tend to deploy people when there's a crisis in the state, but they turn to the MRC to do a lot of the legwork related to COVID. And so they've opened up to a lot of like non-medical volunteers like me. So I would work at a vaccination clinic and as a scribe, you know, like filling out people's cards, entering them in the computer, stuff like that.
How's everybody? Soup wise?
Mine is simmering.
So pretty.
I never make anything pretty, but this is pretty, Lynn. Even I didn't ruin this. This is fabulous.
It's the colors of nature.
Yes.
Can you show us a picture of your soup, Deb?
Karen's trying to decide whether she's going to want some, right?
I don't know. Can you? Of course, I want some, but of
All right,
course I'm going to want some. It's delicious. I just would like to see a picture of it. If you can aim the camera,
I don't know,
on the soups.
I don't know if I can.
If somebody could. Oh, yum. Yum, yum.
All right, so mine's good, but watch Salma's is yum too.
Oh, very yummy, yummy.
My
Did I
sweet
make it
potatoes.
nauseous, anybody? Sorry.
I have a question. Should we be worried about the sweet potatoes getting too soft?
Oh my God, I wish I had that worry. Who asked that?
I know. Mine are hard as rocks.
Really?
Mine too. So, Jenny,
Mine-
I'm
mine
an
are
answer, even though Julia really needs to correct everything that I say because she's the chef here. But I think under the instruction, it says, you can actually mash some of them. So I wouldn't worry if they were getting too soft because it just might make for a chunky kind of, a more mushy kind of yumminess.
Okay.
Mushy yumminess.
Mine are still pork tender. And I've been cooking mine for a while. So
Mine are still pork hard, and I've been cooking mine for a while.
Mine are soft. They're soft. That's good. And I mean, if they're getting soft, you could probably turn it off the heat.
Yeah, I just feel like the rest of the chili could use a little, more time with, just blending.
So I'm considering doing an immersion just to kind of thicken up there's a lot of liquid, to keep the color for a lot of stuff, but just to add a little more solidity to it. Because we do love our immersion blenders.
Yeah.
Actually, I usually thicken my chili, my veggie chili with a little masa, a little flour that, just changes it from a soup more to a stew consistency. So that might be something to think about if you want to keep it, chunky.
I have some. Also, I might make some cornbread to go with this.
Oh, Lynn, what a great idea.
That's a great idea.
I'm making rice because I'm going to pour this over rice right after I add those crumbles.
Brown rice?
It is brown rice. I thought about doing it the other way because someone mentioned adding the quinoa, and I thought, well, I could add farro to this, and I thought, what a waste of farro. I just, have rice, put it on the rice, it'll be fine. That's how we normally eat our chili. I'm not from Cincinnati. I don't throw spaghetti under my chili.
I like it on rice too.
Okay. Well, you can come over, you know where I live.
When I'm feeling super guilty or super healthy, I will make spaghetti squash and put it on that instead of spaghetti.
Good idea.
That's it all, Mark.
Lynn, were you not on when we were busy talking about the squashes and the casseroles back when I had all those spaghetti squash that I'd gotten from the Harshalan Sukkah, and I was looking like crazy for different recipes for the spaghetti squash because I find it the most boring vegetable in the world. And I ended up, the best recipe I found was kind of a Southwestern something on top of the spaghetti squash, but it does nothing for me.
It's great meat sauce.
Okay.
The other thing I do is I roast garlic, like I flip it over and then I put like a clove of garlic underneath it and cook that, roast it, and then it gets mushy and I mush it in with the spaghetti squash and it adds a lot of flavor.
That is a very good idea. I will definitely
You have to really season it. I mean, you have to kind of be pretty heavy with the salt and pepper and garlic, I think.
Right, because it has absolutely no taste. So,
If you really roast it and you like roast it to the smithereens so it kind of caramelizes, I think it has a really good taste.
I can remember having it. This is actually one of the very few vegetables my mother cooked. Okay, my mother didn't believe in vegetables. She just didn't know what they were. She thought iceberg lettuce was a vegetable. Okay. But someone turned her on to spaghetti squash. Probably by this time it was the late 60s. And she started making it, but she made it with like all this butter and salt and pepper. And it, well, this is instead of spaghetti. I'm thinking, well, but this isn't healthy when you're putting like a ton of butter on it to,
Yeah, but if you caramelize it and you use a fair amount of olive oil or some other kind of healthy oil and season it and then put something flavorful on top of it. And cheese is always helpful.
Cheese, yes, cheese. The recipes that were good, because I did try several, were all made with cheese. They needed something. It needed something.
Well, it's a good gluten-free.
Yeah.
Thing.
Cheryl, were you showing Old Bay to add with the You add that to the butternut squash, to the
No,
spaghetti
this is
squash?
the soup that I'm making, that it's really delicious.
Oh, well, for the soup, okay.
Cheryl, is this the soup that we made before? That's another thing I had never had was Old Bay. I had to go buy Old Bay in order to make whatever that soup was. It was a good soup. We can make that again. What was that? Which one is it you're making?
It's called, I think, Autumn Wild Rice.
That was Salma soup, Salma and Sanya's.
That was a good soup.
Yeah.
And it, Old
We can do
Bay?
that again.
Yeah, she did it again.
Yeah.
Coconut milk. It's got Old Bay, coconut milk, 2 handfuls of kale, sweet potatoes, carrots.
You're fantastic.
Wow.
We could do that one again. That was a really good soup.
That's what Salma and I were just saying, but she doesn't want to lead it.
Oh, Salma.
I don't want to.
Oh, she very much wants to. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, that was a great soup, and I think we may have made it with Harshalom as well, because I had this can of Old Bay that I didn't know what to do with. But someone said, "Well, don't you put it on chicken?" And I said, "Well, no, I don't think I've ever put Old Bay on chicken. I didn't know that was a thing that one did. How do I know?"
Michelle had asked what next week is. It's lentil and mushroom stew, and I just put it in the chat because, oh, unless that's changing, Deb, is that?
No, that's it. It's going to be delicious. Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah. Michelle, are we going to see you next week?
Well, you could do what I just did.
No, you cannot ever listen to Cheryl or Chef Marge. No.
Is it always at 5:30?
Yes, Mondays at 5:30.
Okay, and I need to officially sign up because Julie just sent me the link. So if you
Guess
want
what? You don't need to sign up. We are a doors open kind of group. There's no signing up. Oh my God, it's 6:30. All right, you guys, I'm ending Facebook